It's snack time. I'm your host, Marno, and joining us today is my friend, Mari, who is sharing her snack, Flamin Hot Cheetos. I'm very excited. Hi, Mari. How are you?
I'm so good. Any conversation that is around Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
I am so excited. These are top tier
Aren't they
for
top
me,
tier?
so I'm quite excited to dive in today. But before we dive into this
Mm.
delicious, crunchy, spicy, cheesy snack, and corny, the corn
And
flavor
corny,
is
definitely corny.
primo. Um, we gotta know here at Snack Time. We don't subscribe to many binaries, and even
Okay.
on this spectrum I fluctuate quite often, but it's an essential question. Are you a salty or sweet snacker?
Salty. I don't even need more
Yes.
than half a second. I'm so salty, and I mean that in multiple levels. I'm so salty. It's not even funny.
Oh my gosh. What is it for you that, like, salty is just, it's it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's actually a little bit embarrassing how much I've analyzed this myself.
No, I love
Uh,
it. This is the place
is right.
for snack and taste analyzations.
Yeah. So when I think of when I think of sweets, it's always like the things that melt or the things that are gooey or the things that are like chewy, and they have their place and I will eat them. And like, yes, we love sugar, but the crunch that
Mm-hmm.
follows salty foods or just like generally goes with salty foods, I need the crunch, I need the texture. I'm a like food dynamic kind of gal. It's got to have all of those things. And salty just brings it all home.
Okay, I never thought of it that way, with like salty is usually accompanied
Yeah, I
with
think.
crunch, and sweet is usually accompanied with soft.
Hmm.
And again, I love texture, whether like
Yeah.
wherever it is on the texture spectrum. But there's something about crunch where I'm just like, crunch, 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 munch, munch, munch. I can't stop. Like, the
Right.
crunchiness. Like, I could eat a family size bag of chips, but I could only
Ooh,
have like a small snack size like bag of gummies or something. You know what
totally.
I mean?
Totally. And
Ooh,
hopefully less if
yeah.
they're a certain kind of gummy, but that's the conversation.
Yeah,
Mm,
a few little bites. Why
yeah,
not?
just a
Yeah.
few.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
because
this
I mean,
year.
I love sugary. Right. Well, this year, are you kidding? This year I've posed at this rate. Um, yeah, and like if they, oh my God, if they made, maybe they do, and I just am like not in the loop, but if they made chip edibles, I'd die. Like
They
I would literally,
probably,
do
I
they?
mean,
Like,
because um, you can make like butter and oils.
but think about the texture of all of those things, like even brownies or gummies. Like again, it follows kind of that
Yeah.
sweeter, it follows
But
that sweeter like river of
yeah.
snacks, I
I
think.
wonder if you could like cook the chips in oil
Mm.
that was infused
Ooh.
with it.
Oof. Or like fried chicken and CBD oil. Are you kidding me? I'm patenting that.
You
That nobody
need
can
to.
take it. That
You, I mean, good thing you're speaking publicly about it. This is like your
yeah,
copyright right here.
right. It totally is. Oh my God. Why have I never thought of
Write
that?
that. No, literally write it down.
And
Because
let's bring it home. We'll crust it in Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
this has
Girl, I'm just saying,
this
listen,
has
right? I mean,
I mean, and I mean, can I stop saying that phrase? How many times? Um, Later on, we are gonna get into the history of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, because I
mm,
found the most delightfully written article, and it like brought me to tears, literally.
oh
So
gosh.
we're gonna get into it later, and I think this story will inspire you to actually pursue making your idea happen. It is a very inspiring story. So we'll get into it. But first, let's start diving in to this snack. I have a little snack size bag of just the classic Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
I mean, that's
crunchy.
That's a mean amount. It's just rude of them to have ever packaged that amount of Flamin' Hot Cheetos in such a small package. How dare they do that?
Well, okay, it came in one of those Costco boxes.
Yeah, so I guess I can blame Costco.
Okay, I'm opening my little bag. I think it's
hit me with that ASMR, girl.
Yeah, so we're crunching and crunching with the classic aluminum foil bag that Cheetos come in. I mean, the packaging is really just so on point, and they haven't changed much.
No,
they don't
when it's that good, do you ever change it? I think not.
I think not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just have the classic. It's they're the crunchy ones, regular amount of spice, because there's the extra.
And my favorite iteration of the Flamin' Hot Cheeto is with the lime.
Ooh, yes.
Are you kidding me? They're so good. So good.
They are they're just so good. What kind are you having today?
Well, the kind that I have today, it was actually a new flavor, and it's not the hot version. I was kind of distracted at the gas station because there was too many people and I was panicking because of COVID. But I got these Cheetos, the crunchy kind, of course. I'm not a big puff gal. I'm strictly a crunchy gal.
I'll dabble with a puff.
Yeah,
but I like the crunchy more.
A puff is better than no Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Right. I think I went through a puff phase.
What a fun phase for you. I love that.
In high school. In high school when you go through your snack phases.
God, do I? Because literally all I used to eat were Cheez-Its. I mean, literally as a food group. Cheez-Its were a food group. Stupid. Yeah. But today I got the cheddar jalapeno kind.
They're so
and I was
good.
nervous because I'm a little bit of a wuss when it comes to things that are actually spicy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little nervous that these jalapeno kick would be too much of a kick, but they're really quite good. I mean, it's got the cheddar, it's got the jalapeno. Mm-hmm. No, it's perfect. They're very good. They done good.
Snackers, if you haven't had the chance to listen, Brett and I did an episode where we taste tested a bunch of jalapeno flavored snacks, and that was one of them. And yeah, that one
rated well.
You'll have to listen. No spoilers, but you guys will have to listen to find out what
I love that.
The result was. But yeah, they were so good. So I'm excited for you to have those right now.
Thank you.
I did just have a bite of mine, and they're just so good. My go-to, back in the day, and actually what got me into hot Cheetos, because I didn't start dabbling in spicy foods until around junior high.
And that's so early. Oh my God.
Well,
I started dabbling until sophomore year of college.
Okay, well, my parents my mom isn't the biggest spicy, but she'll sometimes have spice, but my dad loves hot sauce. So he was always eating it or eating spicy stuff. And the thing that got me into spice, to my best memory, was in junior high, the snack craze was hot Cheetos and cream cheese. Which I don't know who started it, where it started, what was going on, but it was a craze that just swept through my junior high. And they didn't sell it together.
Right, that makes sense.
That wasn't on the menu at the snack counter. But they had bagels and cream cheese. And so I don't remember exactly how they eventually priced it out to sell just the cream cheese packets alone to us, but they did, because I remember getting it, and it was those little tubes.
Totally,
sometimes it was in the little cup, but it was
the cups we had mostly at my middle school. Yeah,
maybe I'm thinking cups was middle school and squeeze tube was high school, because bitch, this this snack stuck to me like glue. I will still have this snack to this day. I am not right now, but like, dang,
I
what a
cannot believe
combo.
I have not thought of that. But of course, that makes sense because whenever you see people eat really hot food, they're always like, drink milk, drink milk, drink milk.
Yeah.
And of course, cream cheese would go in the sense that it's kind of this cooling
Mm-hmm.
factor, adds like another dynamic to the texture.
Yep. Who doesn't love a dip, you know?
Oh, I
And
mean,
it's the
girl, we
most
could have a
simplest
whole other
dip.
conversation about dips. Are you kidding me?
Well, and the thing is, okay, so like my personal, like top of my brain when I'm like chips and dip, I'll usually go for a plain potato or a plain tortilla. But like you have to allow yourself to dabble in the flavor on flavor, the flavored chip and the flavored dip, because a Flamin' Hot Cheeto with like a sour cream and onion dip or a ranch dip, you
Oh,
know, the thick ranch dip.
yes, you are talking my language. Like
Like,
dipping Fritos in
yeah,
one of those types of things.
exactly. Like,
Totally.
I mean, the world of snacking becomes truly endless when you allow when you break through these like quote unquote rules of snacking, you know what I mean? Like,
Totally. Totally.
but anyway, yeah, so my love for Flamin' Hot Cheetos like introduced me to my love of spiciness in general, and so I think
Okay.
it really is just nestled in my heart.
I love that. It is instrumental to your snacking development.
My growth as a human.
Well, my thing with, and this is an issue that I take, and I think everybody can agree that this is such a annoyance when it comes to opening up a bag of chips, is that half of it is air. Like I literally just wish they would just, am I allowed to curse on this, by the way?
Oh yes.
Oh,
I
thank fucking God. Okay.
That little
So,
box that says does this contain explicit material, I check it every time because I can't remember whether or not I or my guests have cursed because it's gonna happen.
well, in that case, fuck how they bag chips. I'm over it. Okay. Like this was literally half air, and that's fine. Like just package it so I know how much is actually in it. Because I'd get the bigger bag. You'd actually make more money that way as a company, I think, if they packaged
Yeah.
it the right way, because I know how many chips were actually in there.
I mean, I think it has to do with helping them not get crushed, but like they should put a line on the bag like chips are actually only up to here cuz when there's like air, it creates like more space for them to move around. But it's like then they should also put a line that says like where the chips are filled to so you know, but
Yeah.
you still have the protection of the air inside. And I think it's actually like nitrogen or like something that helps it stay
Oh,
fresh.
okay.
Something like that.
You have done some serious homework. I was just
Well,
mainly
I
bitching at the
so
company.
that wasn't
So,
even homework just for this, but I think I've seen it on like a How It's Made or Unwrapped or
mm.
one of those food shows.
Okay, question for you. Speaking of how it's made,
Uh-huh.
because I think my answer to this is no, especially related to Flaming Hot Cheetos. But would you watch a how it's made about your favorite snack?
Yes. I think
You
well, okay,
would.
because
I
I
don't think
think
I want to know.
well what aren't these your favorite snack?
Yeah, but I'm scared
It's
of what
just
they
like
put in it.
corn. I mean,
Cornmeal, you're right. Oh, well, I'm not
yeah.
looking at technically the right one, but I think just in terms of all the random shit that I wouldn't know what it actually is. Like, yes, I don't take the time to read it. I'm just gonna eat it. But if it's in front of my face and you're telling me that you were injecting or oiling it
Yeah.
or doing whatever, like hot dogs, I will never watch how those are made. Let's
Well,
just
I think I've watched so much like Food Network and Cooking Channel and even like Travel Channel I feel like has some stuff kind of like similar like behind the scenes stuff. I don't think anything would really bother me because at the
go.
end of the day does it taste good? Yeah. Is it going to kill me? Maybe in like 50 years when I get some kind of cancer from it, but for now, you know, we only have one life to live.
And I want Flamin' Hot Cheetos in
Yeah.
mine, you
And I
know?
want, and so it's like if I don't know about it, I'm still going to do the same thing as if I do know about it. So I might as well know about it and then maybe like make some healthier life choices and not have them every day, but like only have them.
As I'm talking
Yeah.
about patenting freaking fried chicken, CBD
No,
oil,
but
Flamin'
see,
Hot Cheeto laced
that would be
sandwiches.
like a twice a year treat, you know?
You have some good ass willpower, my friend.
Well, I'm thinking about the price on this bad boy sandwich, and I don't think I can afford it.
It's kind of like, yeah, it would definitely be one of those high ticket items just in terms
Yeah,
of oil leverage because it's a lot of oil to like fry something in.
yeah.
But it's
Um,
good.
I mean, one of my secret dreams that is no longer going to be a secret is to like run a little like cannabis cafe and like
Ah,
sell like treats, like non-cannabis treats and cannabis treats and snacks and stuff, and
yeah.
just have it be like just a cute little place to hang out, but it's like a cannabis, it's like instead of a bar with alcohol for people that
Hmm.
don't drink, this is like the place for them, and it's just like a cute cozy place to hang out. It's not going to be like a bar because it's going to be more like chill and cozy because that's
I
like
love.
what I like, how I like to be when I'm under the influence of, the beautiful leaf.
Totally.
Um, I just think it would be so cute. And like I would obviously make it like so cozy, like interior designed and stuff. So
I love that. If you need some early investors, I will find some for you because I can't afford that. But I would love to be a part of that process because
well,
I'm
and
very bought into it.
wherever you end up selling your fried chicken, we'd obviously have to do like a partnership.
Oh my God, we could feature, like do little features and stuff. Oh yeah, I'm into this. I'm into this. I'm excited about
So,
this business venture we're embarking on now.
oh my god, what if I had like on the weekends or just like every night, like a different food truck would be parked out front of my little cafe?
That's how I should start is a food truck. One, I love to
Yes.
drive. I could go anywhere. Uh, Flamin' Hot Cheetos are obviously meant for road trips. That's like the primarily the time that I'm eating them. Um,
Is that like your favorite time to eat them? Like on a road trip, you're like, that's my go to?
well, because yes, 100%. I can tell you when I drove recently from Boise to Seattle, it was like the highlight of the trip was having my pre-set out like little easily grabbed Flamin' Hot Cheetos. And then when I drove from Arizona to California, I just bought a whole bag and I ate them all in one
Oh my
sitting,
god.
and I was so happy. Uh, yeah, but so I think food truck makes a ton of sense. It also reminds me of that movie Chef. I don't know if you've
Oh,
seen the movie. How
I
good is that movie? How good is it?
okay, first of all,
Hit me with it.
Jon Favreau is
Stop it.
like
Don't say what I
my
think you're gonna say. You are gonna
dream.
say.
I love him so much. Okay, first of all,
Hmm.
brilliant like creator of movies. He
Totally,
is
totally.
responsible for
Just
my maybe favorite movie of all time, Elf. Also, Iron Man. He basically created the MCU. He also created the movie Chef.
yeah, Chef
Like
is
he,
phenomenal.
I mean, just as like a businessman, he also, have
Totally.
you watched the Chef show?
Yes, and it's so he's incredible. He's incredible, and I will say his role as Happy in Iron Man and just like Avengers
Oh
later,
my god,
uh,
yes.
absolute chef's kiss.
But
I love.
he also like directed and produced Iron Man.
I did not know that.
That's what I'm talking about.
So I must have.
He
I have to credit him because they nailed that movie.
he directed and produced Iron Man 1, and then I think, did he do Iron Man 2? I don't know. But then he did all the Avengers, and
That's honestly incredible. That
he
is called
directed and
securing
produced
the bag.
Elf.
Yeah, Elf is a touchy subject recently in my life
Oh
because
my god.
I'm Team Grinch. I know,
Well, okay,
but
I'm literally wearing a Martha May Whovier sweatshirt right now, so
holy
like
shit, you are.
Grinch is my number 2 Christmas movie.
Yeah, but
And
here's
Elf
the
is above it
scandal.
because Elf I can watch year round.
Okay, but that's how I feel about Grinch. And I also, you're
I
probably gonna
respect
just end
that.
the call. Yeah, but you're about to end the call right now when I tell you that I don't like Elf.
Why though? I'm not going to end the
So
call. I respect your opinion
thank
because okay,
you. This
it
is a safe
is
space.
it is like okay. I have a very high tolerance for being subjected to annoying things. I'm a nanny,
Sure, of course.
right?
You have
Like
to, that
I
threshold is
enjoy
very
my
different.
job,
Yeah.
and part of my job is to experience quote unquote annoying things. Here's a thing. My like my bar for something that makes me laugh is pretty low. Like,
Yeah,
I
because you think that I'm funny, which is like out of this
you
world.
are
I
funny.
know it's out of this world. The nicest thing anybody could ever do is like
Oh
laugh
my
when I
god.
know it's not funny. And I
No.
worship that for you.
You are funny though. You just have to have the right audience. Okay, I wouldn't say
Poor
my bar is
Marcus.
low. I wouldn't actually say my bar is low because when something isn't funny because it's like problematic, it's not funny at all.
Ooh, yeah,
So my
problematic
bar
is
isn't
not
low. I just have a wider again with my full spectrum of everything in my life.
yes.
I can appreciate different styles of humor for what
Hmm.
they are, and that usually makes me laugh.
Ooh, okay. So you
So,
touched on something good there in terms of like the thematic element that plays into what you think is funny. In terms of, and I'm only saying this because the reason that Grinch is so spot on for me is his particular humor is actually very dark and
oh
and
yeah. Hmm.
and dry. Like I love dark,
Oh, okay, that's
dry.
why you don't like Elf because Elf
Yes, because
is
it's not.
bubbly,
It's oh,
lighthearted. It's the most candy coated,
it's
which
so candy coated.
but so here's the thing, salty versus sweet. When I am sweet, I'm eating like cotton candy, marshmallows, like the stupidest, just pure sugar shit. Like churros. Churros is like basically just sugar and cinnamon, which it's like that's still pretty basic. Like when it comes to sweetness, I want it basic. I want it for kids. I want it stupid. I want pratfalls.
And I respect that.
I want like literally just powdered sugar in a bowl, you know? So,
Yeah.
and that's what Elf is, which, and then but I can also appreciate, a more nuanced sugar, which I think is what I think the Grinch
Yeah.
is a salty sweet.
Yes.
So, okay, so on the range of Christmas movies, here, we're going to do this right now. Snack
Let's do
time
this right now.
official. The sweet Christmas movie
Hmm.
is Elf.
Yep.
The salty and sweet is the Grinch.
Hmm.
And then what's salty?
Okay, this isn't technically Christmas, but everybody like I would argue that Die Hard is like the other side of the spectrum. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? Like it's a
Yes.
classic, it's associated with Christmas, but
Mm-hmm.
it's truly like the opposite of Elf. And then you've got like it's almost as if Bruce Willis was the Grinch in the Grinch, then it'd like truly be the middle. But Jim Carrey nails it. So like
Yeah.
you have nothing to complain about.
I think that's, yeah. And then in between Die Hard and The Grinch is Home
Hmm.
Alone.
Oh, ooh,
Because
would
Home Alone is pretty salty.
I subscribe to that thought. I agree.
Like closer to Grinch than Die Hard, but I think Home Alone is past Grinch in terms of salty sweet.
Yeah.
Onto it into salt.
In terms of it not necessarily being about like this overall message of Christmas as much as it is togetherness almost. I don't know. That got a little weird, but you know what I'm saying.
But there's also so many hijinks. It's like that's salty, you know?
That that is salty. That is definitely salty.
Oh my god.
So then what would be in between? I don't do I even know enough Christmas movies? I mean, what would be in between? Because
I mean,
Elf is
this could go on and on, but
that's true. The list does go on and on. But we know the ends of our spectrum. That's what's
yeah.
important.
And I'd say those are like the most beloved Christmas
Agreed.
movies. Maybe okay, so like Rudolph, obviously all of those would be like with Elf. Actually, do you know what? Elf is not the sweetest because those are the sweetest. Those are like pure.
That's
Elf would be
yeah.
in between like the Rudolphs and whatever and the Grinch.
Yeah. I think slightly more skewed though towards like the Rudolphs and such.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and I just watched the on Netflix there's the movies that made us and they came out with a Christmas edition
What in that?
and they have an episode on Elf. It's so that's why I was like just it's, it's in my heart. And I
Well, what I
love
can
Jon Favreau.
I know you do. And I didn't know that about his
Bringing it back to
directing.
Chef.
Yeah, bring it
And
right
the
back to
food
Chef
truck.
and the food truck. That's how we got here. I was like, where did we go? Yeah, well done. You've done this before, evidently.
Oh, tangents? Oh, yeah, we've been there.
Yeah, but finding your way back, I often find myself in like next week already, and I'm like, holy shit, how did I get here?
Oh my
Oh
God.
man, I love that. But so Jon Favreau, he does it
Hmm.
for you. Good to know. I totally respect
I
that.
mean, he's
And
not like what I would think is my usual type, which is like pretty like queer and like just I don't know. Just people that are, in the queer arena are usually who I'm more attracted to, but something about just like he's just like a teddy bear of a human who's
totally.
so smart and talented and like really cares. Like that's what on the chef show you like just really see how much he like really actually connects with people.
Hmm.
And I love that when people, are just genuine.
Yeah. No, I could not agree more. I also think that in terms of who we are, quote, normally attracted to, I think a lot of people would say that I'm sometimes skewed, but often all over the spectrum. And I think for somebody like Jon Favreau, he brings so much to the table in terms of like talent and his commitment and just his experience and the stories that he's going to have, right? Like even when they have those discussions on the chef cooking show, they're sitting down with those chefs. They're sitting there
Mhm.
with the staff and they're just like shooting the shit. He's got these stories, they've got these anecdotes, and you're enveloped in it because
Mhm.
it's so abnormal for somebody like you and I. I mean, I've worked in the restaurant, like cool, but I mean, I don't know, just those kinds of things don't come naturally.
Mhm. Well, maybe one day we'll both be on the chef show. You with your
Oh my God, my
chicken
fried chicken sandwich!
and then me with my revolutionary cannabis cafe
Hell yes.
and, we'll all be friends. Uh, but okay, so bringing it back to the chicken and bringing it
Right.
back to the
Yes.
inspiring history of
Oh,
Flamin'
yes.
Hot Cheetos, like I
Okay. How
it
I'm shocked by this, that there's even a history to it.
okay, so I just like wanted to do a little boopity boop research and then like came across this
Is that the sound you
article.
make when you do research is boopity boop and you make a little search?
So I like stole that from Rhett and Link on YouTube, who I'm just like obsessed with. And
Yeah.
that's what when they say like they did research, they put their hands on their heads like little satellites and they go boopity 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 boop. It's so dumb, but that's just the most pure humor that there is on the internet. Um, and then another thing that's pure on the internet is this freaking article that I found. It's
Yeah.
on thehustle.co, which I don't
Okay.
think I've ever been to this website before.
I've read they
But
have like these random types of articles, so it doesn't
yeah.
surprise me.
And
Yeah. So okay.
so I went into this and I was like expecting just, a pretty cut and dry history of article. And then I start reading, I'm like, this has heart. Like
Oh
this is
God.
storytelling, this is emotional. So this is
Are we
by
allowed to cry? Because I don't
I
know if we signed up for that.
I cried. I cried when I
Oh
read this. I'm not even
God.
joking. Not
All
like
right. I'm just
sobbing, but
gonna.
like a single tear, like Nicole Kidman style.
Wow.
Um
Very. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So this is by Zachary Crockett, ZZ Crockett with two T's on Twitter if you want to follow him. I mean, I might as well promo him because I'm about to just read his article.
I
This
mean,
was
yeah. Let's bring
this
it.
was published November 29th, 2017. How a janitor at Frito-Lay invented Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Richard Montañez went from cleaning toilets to being one of the most respected execs in the food industry. On an early morning in the late 1980s, a group of the highest powered executives at Frito Lay, the CEO, CMO, and a platoon of VPs, gathered in a California conference room to hear what Richard Montañez had to say. Montañez didn't share their pedigree. He wasn't an executive. He had no fancy degree. He had a fourth grade level education and couldn't read or write. Montañez was a janitor, but he was a janitor with an idea. An idea that would make the company billions of dollars and become one of history's most celebrated and iconic snack foods, Flamin'
Hell
Hot
yeah.
Cheetos. But first, he had to convince the world to hear him out. At this moment, I'd like to take a brief moment. At this moment, I'd like to take a moment. What am I saying? to just say, get your snack, get your beverage, get comfy, because we're about to get into a story time here at
I
Snack
love a
Time.
good story.
Picking grapes. Montañez grew up in the 1960s in Guasti, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Guasti, California, a tiny unincorporated farming town 40 miles east of Los Angeles. Under the sweltering Cucamonga Valley sun, his family, mother, father, grandfather, and 11 children, scraped together a meager living picking grapes and slept together in a one-room cinder block abode at the labor camp. As a first-generation Mexican immigrant at an all-white school, Montañez had access to few resources and struggled to understand his teachers. I remember my mom getting me ready for school and I was crying, he later told Lowrider magazine. I couldn't speak English. One day in class, the teacher went around the room asking each kid to name his or her dream job. Doctor, astronaut, veterinarian. When she called on Montañez, he froze. I realized I didn't have a dream, he says. There was no dream where I came from. Montañez soon stopped getting on the school bus and began boarding the work truck with his father and grandfather. After dropping out of school, he worked the fields in 110-degree Fahrenheit heat and took on odd jobs slaughtering chickens at a poultry factory, washing cars, and picking weeds. With a fourth-grade level education and few economic opportunities, Montañez saw no path out of poverty. Then, in 1976, a neighbor told him about a job opening that would change his life. There's no such thing as just a janitor. Down the road in Rancho Cucamonga, the Frito-Lay plant was looking for a janitor. At $4 per hour, $18 in 2019 dollars, the job paid many multiples of what Montañez made in the fields. It represented a better life, insurance, benefits, social mobility. Unable to read or write, the 18-year-old recruited his wife to help fill out an application. He journeyed down a dusty road, met with the hiring manager, and got the job. When he broke the news to his family, his grandfather imparted a piece of advice that would always stick with him. Make sure that floor shines, the man told his grandson, and let them know that a Montañez mopped it. Montañez decided he was going to be the best janitor Frito-Lay had ever seen, and he quickly made his presence known. Every time someone walked into a room, it would smell fresh, he says. I realized there's no such thing as just a janitor when you believe you're going to be the best. Montañez also developed the philosophy that it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. In between shifts, he set out to make himself seen, learning as much as he could about the company's products, spending time in the warehouse, and watching the machines churn out crunchy snacks in the lonely midnight hours. And eventually, his insatiable curiosity would pay off. I saw no products catering to Latinos. By the mid-1980s, Frito-Lay had fallen on tough times. As a way to boost morale, then CEO Roger Enrico recorded a video message and disseminated it to the company's 300,000 employees. In the video, Enrico encouraged every worker at the company to act like an owner. Most employees brushed it off as a management cliche. Montañez took it to heart. Here's my invitation. Here's the CEO telling me, the janitor, that I can act like an owner, he later recalled. I didn't know what I was going to do. Didn't need to, but I knew I was going to act like an owner. After nearly a decade mopping floors, Montañez gathered the courage to ask one of the Frito-Lay salesmen if he could tag along and learn more about the process. They went to a convenience store in a Latino neighborhood, and while the salesman restocked inventory, Montañez made a fortuitous observation. I saw our products on the shelves and they were all plain. Lay's, Fritos, Ruffles, he recalls. And right next to these chips happened to be a shelf of Mexican spices. In that moment, he realized that Frito-Lay had nothing spicy or hot. A few weeks later, Montañez stopped at a local vendor to get some elote, a Mexican street corn doused in chili powder, salt, cotija, lime juice, and crema fresca. Cob in hand, a revelation struck. What if I put chili on a Cheeto. Introduced to the world in 1948, Cheetos, crunchy corn-based nuggets coated in cheese-flavored powder, were a flagship product of Frito-Lay. And while they were popular among California's growing base of Latino consumers, the company had yet to consider retailoring the product's taste profile. Nobody had given any thought to the Latino market, recalls Montañez. But everywhere I looked, I saw it ready to explode. So, Montañez heeded the CEO's words and acted like an owner. Working late one night at the production facility, he scooped up some Cheetos that hadn't yet been dusted in cheese. He took them home and, with the help of his wife, covered them in his own concoction of chili powder and other secret spices. When he handed them out to family members and friends, the snacks were met with universal enthusiasm. He just needed a bigger audience. So he called the CEO. I was naive, Montañez later said. I didn't know you weren't supposed to call the CEO. I didn't know the rules. Finding Roger Enrico's phone number was easy enough. It was listed in a company directory. He rang the line and was put through to the chief's executive assistant. Mr. Enrico's office, who is this? Richard Montañez. What division are you with? California. You're the VP overseeing California? No, I work at the Rancho Cucamonga plant. Oh, so you're the VP of operations? No, I work inside the plant. You're the plant manager? No, I'm the janitor. The assistant paused for what seemed like an eternity. One moment. Then, a voice on the other line. Hello, this is Roger. Montañez told the CEO he'd heeded the call to action. He'd studied the company's products, identified a demand in the market, and even crafted his own rudimentary snacks in his kitchen. Enrico loved the ingenuity. He told the janitor he'd be at the plant in 2 weeks and asked him to I just choked on my spit. Prepare a presentation.
You're already choking up.
All this talk about Cheetos is making me salivate. Moments after Montañez hung up the phone, the plant manager stormed up to him. He said, "Who do you think you are? Who let the janitor call the CEO?" recalls Montañez. Then he said, "You're doing this presentation." The birth of the hot Cheeto. Montañez was 26 years old. In his words, he couldn't read or write very well and had no knowledge about how to formulate a business proposal. But he wasn't about to give up. Accompanied by his wife, he went to the library, found a book on marketing strategies, and copied the first 5 paragraphs word for word onto transparencies. At home, he filled 100 plastic baggies with his homemade treats, sealed them with a clothing iron, and manually drew a logo and design on each package. On the day of the presentation, he bought a $3 tie, black with blue and red stripes, and had his neighbor knot it for him. As he gathered the bags, his wife stopped him near the door. "Don't forget who you are." Montañez stepped into the boardroom. "Here I was," he says, "a janitor presenting to some of the most highly qualified executives in America." At one point during the presentation, an executive in the room interjected, "How much market share do you think you can get?" It hit me that I had no idea what I was talking about, what he was talking about, or what I was doing, Montañez recalled. I was shaking, and I damn near wanted to pass out, but I opened my arms and I said, "This much market share!" I didn't even know how ridiculous that looked. The room went silent as the CEO stood up and smiled. "Ladies and gentlemen, do you realize we have an opportunity to go after this much market share?" he said, stretching out his arms. He turned to Montañez. "Put that mop away. You're coming with us." Feeling hot, hot, hot. 6 months later, with Montañez's help, Frito-Lay began testing Flamin Hot Cheetos in small Latino markets in East Los Angeles. If it performed well, the company would move forward with the product. If it didn't, they'd scratch it, and Montañez would likely return to janitorial duties. This was his one shot, and some folks didn't want things to work out for him. It seemed there was a group of executives who wanted it to fail, he later told the podcast The Passionate Few. They thought I got lucky. They were paid big bucks to come up with these ideas. They didn't want some janitor to do it. So Montañez assembled a small team of family members and friends, went to the test markets, and bought every bag of hot Cheetos he could find. "I'd tell the owner, 'Man, these are great,'" he recalled. "Next week, I'd come back and there'd be a whole rack." In 1992, Flamin Hot Cheetos went greenlit for a national release, and in short order, the snack became one of the most successful product launches in Frito-Lay history. From janitor to VP. Today, Flamin' Hot Cheetos are one of Frito-Lay's hottest selling commodities. A multi-billion-dollar snack celebrated by everyone from Katy Perry to middle schoolers on meal vouchers. There's even a rap song about them. And Montañez is no longer sweeping floors. Over a 35-year career, the former janitor rose through the corporate ranks and is now the vice president of multicultural sales for PepsiCo America, the holding company of Frito-Lay. Before Montañez joined the executive team, Frito-Lay had only 3 Cheeto products. Since then, the company has launched more than 20, each worth more than $300 million. Recognized by Newsweek and Fortune as one of the most influential Hispanic leaders in America, Montañez is a gifted speaker who often tours the country giving keynotes. And soon, his history will hit the silver screen. Fox Searchlight Pictures is currently working on a biopic about his life, appropriately titled Flamin' Hot. He still lives in Rancho Cucamonga, where he gives back to his community through a nonprofit he launched and teaches MBA classes at a nearby college. Recently, a student asked him how he was teaching without a PhD. "I do have a PhD," he responded. "I've been poor, hungry, and determined." I'm like literally about to cry right now again. Isn't that like just the best?
Would like to say that I feel so justified in my obsession with Flamin' Hot Cheetos now. There's like this actual incredible backstory.
Yeah.
I would like to think that maybe I could just feel it in the Cheetos, just like
They spoke to your soul.
I just knew with that first crunch that it was the right one, the right snack.
That's so good.
Oh my God. I mean, truly, more people need to know about this. I'm gonna go tell everyone. I'm gonna link to this.
I hope it does get turned into a movie. I mean, that was published 3 years ago, and I haven't heard anything, but I hope so.
Yeah, 2017. I did hear you say that.
Mm-hmm.
I would 1,000% go. I would stuff Flamin' Hot Cheetos into my purse, my pockets, and just like I would be like Lil Xan and probably overdose on Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
I mean, so here's the thing though, before the movie comes out, you got to get your product in line because that's got to be, it's going to boost sales,
Totally. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, other than your future hot Cheeto encrusted chicken sandwich, which I obviously want to eat when it eventually comes to light, what else would you like to promote right now? Is there anything else you'd like to tell the snackers before we go today?
I guess it's definitely, a bit removed from snacks. I work and volunteer for an animal rescue in New York City. And if you're ever looking for an organization a very justified and wonderful organization to give back to, they're called Socialties NYC. And the link to their donation page is in my Instagram bio. So a little shout out to them, and also feel free to check them out through my Insta.
And what is your Insta?
The handle is Mirbus, and I laugh at myself every time I have to say what my handle is. It's pretty nonsensical to most. MIRBUSS. It's actually a play on an old license plate that my dad had.
Oh, cool.
Because his license plate was Irbus, because we're Irby, and so he had a Bronco, and it was IRBU. I think there was 2 S's. I don't remember exactly, but I know it was Irbus. And the reason that we loved it so much is because he also got a customized license plate cover, because my cousin had cystic fibrosis, and it was like a donation call out for CF. And so I just like always, it was a big family thing. It was just like, so I was a freshman in college, and I thought that Instagram handles had to matter, and I was like, it has to be Mirbus, If you asked me to make an Instagram handle now, it'd be like Cheeky Bitch 93 or something. I don't know. Like it would be.
You're talking to Marno Faux, who I've been Marno Faux for like 11 years now, because I think I started like. Yeah. I think I first used it for like maybe AIM, which maybe was even before that, like junior high.
Yeah.
So like we're talking AIM. 2007, maybe, possibly. I don't know. Maybe 13 years of Marno Faux. Who knows?
Yeah, I had some embarrassing AIM for for sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm glad I heard why that is your handle, because I don't think I've always been like, oh, I don't know, like it kind of
Like,
sounds
what is
like
that shit?
it like the M for Mari, the Herb for your last name, but like I wasn't sure what the bus came from, so I'm glad to clear that up.
Yeah, it wasn't even an agenda item, and we covered it, so that's great.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Mari, for joining me here today. It has been such a blast. I'm going to finish. I've only eaten one hot Cheeto because I just talked so much, but I'm definitely going to finish these bad boys once we get off this Zoom call.
I
But
am actually now craving a second bag, so I might have to walk to the corner
yes.
store and get one. But thank you so much for having me. It was so fun.
Oh my gosh. Come back anytime. And snackers, thank you so much for listening. I hope you're having a good one. And we'll listen to you next time at Snack Time. Bye.